Welcome back, Southeast Asia. You're still watching the semifinals of the Garena Premier League Spring 2017. And this is going to be Game 2 between the Kuala Lumpur Hunters from Malaysia and the Gigabyte Marines from Vietnam.
Yeah.
We just finished that last game where Kuala Lumpur Hunters got the first win for the series.
Yeah, it was a very interesting game. Caspiel solo carrying the game.
Yeah, he was a beast, a predator in that game.
Exactly, but Optimus as well. Given the opportunities, he could have carried the game as well.
I think there was one point where he could have had the 1v5 Penta.
Yeah, he could, because his LeBlanc actually outranges the Vladimir. If he manages to kite him out.
Yeah, unfortunately, the vision was against him in that team fight and that skirmish. So that's going to be with Kuala Lumpur Hunters with a momentum for this, even though Optimus and the rest of Gigabyte Marines, statistically, they have the advantage in terms of the power rankings that everyone has constructed. But it seems like Kuala Lumpur Hunters really stepping up from the group stages.
Exactly. So like their performance just keeps getting better and better, especially starting from group stages. So we have yet to see what they can bring and what Vietnam is going to respond.
Yeah, Vietnam still hasn't put out all of their ace cards, while Kuala Lumpur Hunters has put out one of their picks, the Camille support with a Callista AD carry. Really, the delivery service for that ultimatum is potent as a tool to really work for their win conditions.
Exactly, and like one of my biggest questions during that game was, how did these champions get through? What happened during Champ Select? And what kind of mind games happened that you would see this amount of super strong champions getting picked?
Yes, so that draft was, it all ended up with so many strong champions picked up, not getting banned. And I think also for the game 1, I think it's acceptable not to ban the Camille and the Callista there yet, because I mean the Camille might have been a proper ban considering the power levels, but we're gonna see the thoughts of our players on the matchup, on everything, as we get into the interviews in a while. So we're just gonna have to wait for those videos. But looking at it right now, the matchup right now, yeah, Kuala Lumpur Hunters has the momentum, but looking at their finals games, what do you think that Gigabyte Marines can pull out for this?
Optimus has
I think we are quite confident going into the match to play against Vietnam, because we already played like 6 games in the group stage, and they will come in without any experience or game, as they have yet to play any game on the stage. And I trust my team that we can win this game.
How do you think you prepare against them?
I will do the unexpected. That everybody think that Optimus will win, but I will show them the unexpected.
What do you think is the quality of your team that will help you beat Vietnam?
I think the best quality of my team to beat Vietnam is we are very close together and we play a lot together, and we will show that our teamwork is stronger than them and our micro and macro gameplay is better than them. I think I will beat Optimus in lane and snowball my lead to other lane together.
Khi mà được mọi người đánh giá cao ở vị trí mid laner thì mình nghĩ đó là thành quả của những thời gian mà mình đã phối hợp tập luyện và cũng như những gì mà mình đã thể hiện trong những mùa giải vừa qua, và mình nghĩ rằng là mình xứng đáng với việc mà được mọi người coi trọng. Ở thời điểm hiện tại thì ở khu vực GPL mình đánh giá rằng là đội tuyển GPL Marine đến từ đội tuyển Việt Nam của bọn mình nhỉnh hơn hầu hết các khu vực khác trong khu vực GPL một tí, bởi vì xuyên suốt khoảng thời gian dài thì bọn mình đã được tập luyện có thể nói là ở một môi trường tốt hơn, cũng như rằng là ở những khu vực khác như Thái Lan và Indonesia hiện tại cũng có những tuyển thủ đến từ Việt Nam, và mình nghĩ việc đó đã gây một chút khó khăn cho việc giao tiếp của bọn họ, và từ đó họ trở nên yếu đi, nên mình rất tự tin vào việc là đội tuyển GPL Marine có thể giành được chức vô địch trong GPL lần này. Bởi vì đối đầu với người đi đường giữa của Kuala Lumpur Hunter thì mình nghĩ rằng là mình sẽ giành chiến thắng với anh ấy, bởi vì anh ấy chưa hề xuất hiện ở GPL, cũng như rằng là những gì anh ấy đã thể hiện ở vòng bảng thì mình đánh giá không cao lắm.
Okay, that's going to be our hedge. Really confident here going to this game as a go-getter, while Optimus, the one who's right now sitting on the throne, entering this game with a cool head, entering this matchup with a cool head. And the question from earlier on what Gigabyte Marines can pull out for this game to counter Kuala Lumpur Hunters will be answered in the drafting phase.
Exactly. So as you can see, Lucian is banned out. Like Lucian, you rarely see Lucian banned out in 7.6 in other regions. So again, this kind of shows you why there were a lot of power picks coming out during the first game, because a lot of these bans are very unusual. Like in the previous game, you had Thresh, Braum, Lucian banned out, and you also have the Syndra banned out from Optimus. So like this enables a lot of these super strong picks to get into the game, and then sadly a blue side Rengar is super scary.
Yeah, that's going to be very scary indeed.
Exactly.
Getting the ganks out, and as soon as he reaches level 6, the pressure, the paranoia that catches you and when you're going to get ganked. The first 6 bans for our banning phases are going to be the Malzahar, Syndra, very standard. The Ashe as well. The utility, they don't want to deal with the utility. Rengar also banned out. Camille, a flexible ban against Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I was talking about. You'd have to ban the Rengar on red side. You have to ban the Camille on red side, because you can't allow the blue team to first pick these champions. I'm actually surprised that Graves still got through.
Yeah, maybe still one of the most powerful junglers.
Yeah, especially without Rengar in the picture. It's going to put the jungler disadvantage onto Levi.
Levi is going to be on the back foot from the start of the game, considering how the draft has played out so far. The first pick coming from Gigabyte Marines will be the Varus. We're going to see how their second pick is. They might opt to reveal their bot lane. They already have one half of that. Might be, it's going to be one of two. It's going to be the Lulu.
I like how Gigabyte Marines actually opted for the Varus and the Lulu, because Varus and Lulu are especially a red side Varus. Like it has been the theme of the previous series, where if you execute red side Varus perfectly, you can stop and actually turn Baron attempts from the blue team.
Yes, just the blue team, obviously from the way the map is structured, they have a natural advantage of getting that Baron, getting to that Baron as well. And while that chain of corruptions and everything else that Varus has, as you said, if played correctly, can put a hamper on those efforts, bait the other team into getting that Baron, and maybe counter that with Varus's kit. Let's see the response here. The Karma will be for the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, plus the Caitlyn.
Yeah, we saw this a few games ago as well, about how strong Caitlyn and Karma are at poking down and shoving the wave in. So this is Levi's cue to actually take a look at ganking the bottom lane of Gigabyte Marines first.
Looks like the tool he's going to use to gank the bot lane, Levi's going to be picking up that Lee Sin to try and pressure the early game.
Exactly, because if you go for a Kha'Zix, your first ganks are usually mid and top when you're a red side Kha'Zix. So if you choose a Kha'Zix, it's going to really make it hard for your bot lane to actually survive the laning phase. I like the Lee Sin pick because Lee Sin's jungle starts are super flexible. He can start
versatile.
Raptors, he can start red, he can start blue. So he has a lot of options, and usually you'd either expect Levi to alleviate the pressure from bottom lane or try to get Optimus rolling, because Stark has been a very consistent jungler, top laner in the Vietnam region. So you would expect Optimus or the bottom lane to actually be the one snowballed for the Gigabyte Marines.
And with the top lane and mid lane open for both teams, the banning phase seems to be centered around the top lane so far, with Shen banned against Kuala Lumpur Hunters, with the Nautilus Kuala Lumpur Hunters ban against GAM.
Yeah, so they want to ban out the top lane. Even it's super healthy. They want to get away. They want Stark off of a tank to actually make it harder for Gigabyte Marines to set up. But one thing you have to take note of is Gigabyte Marines actually have last pick, so Optimus has that opportunity to counter pick whatever Kuala Lumpur brings to the table. So I'm actually surprised that Kuala Lumpur isn't considering banning out more mid laners just to make it a more volatile matchup in their favor.
Optimus, really consistent, very powerful. Banning a champion, even one champion or two against him would put a hamper and make his lane a lot more volatile, makes his picks maybe a little more narrowed down, which will allow Kuala Lumpur Hunters to prepare a lot more for that.
Yeah, it looks like Kuala Lumpur's actually listened to us and actually banned away the Orianna. So Orianna is a super safe pick, super safe blind pick, but I expected the Orianna ban to come out from Gigabyte Marines because they don't want Kuala Lumpur to easily blind pick Orianna into whatever Optimus will bring to the table.
Yeah,
they do lock in the Rumble though.
The Rumble will be the lock-in for Gigabyte Marines in the top lane. Very powerful. And as you said, that how Slay can just disrupt so many Barons with the Varus. That's going to add to that with Stark's Rumble.
This is looking to be a beautiful team fighting composition that is super beneficial on the red side.
It's gonna be the last two picks of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Gonna be locking in the Renekton against that Rumble.
So, again, one way you can run a Rumble, fight a Rumble, is to counter him with another lane bully, like Renekton. Renekton can actually outlane the Rumble in the early game.
Bully the bully.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna be the game plan for KLH.
The matchup to watch because you already know that bot lane is going to push in towards Gigabyte Marines.
Yes.
But top lane, it's going to be interesting because jungler pressure as well is super important.
Jungler pressure is going to be the main thing in a lot of the games here in 7.6 in the GPL because everything the jungle does affects all the other lanes. All the other lanes, what they do affects the jungle. So we're going to see here, looks like Optimus might be pulling out the Jace mid. That's a lot of physical damage. Also, with Stark on that Rumble, evens it out.
Yeah, I like how the option to hover over this Jace is because one thing that you'd expect the Vladimir to do is rush towards his Spirit Visage, but going for an AD mid forces him to itemize towards his Zhonya's first, and it gives him lesser sustain, in the laning phase. So far, the compositions coming out from Gigabyte Marines is very well balanced with evenly split AP and AD damage, while for Kuala Lumpur, it's actually more AD-centric, so we can expect to see a lot of Ninja Tabis coming out from Gigabyte Marines just to hinder the damage output of
such a powerful item.
Exactly.
Just that Ninja Tabis, the boots, giving you that armor, and plus the passive as well, blocking out some auto attack damage, is going to be useful for Gigabyte Marines. It seems like early in the game, Levi really wants to pressure. He really wants to snowball the lanes and then transition into their front line coming into the late game.
Yeah, so again, we have to take a look at the jungler pathings. That's what's going to dictate the pace of the game, where Levi starts, because Levi has more options than Caspiel does right now.
And looking at it, yeah, it does seem like Levi has a lot more tools to work with in the early game. So we're going to see how all of that plays out later once the game's actually loaded. And looking into the pathing of the junglers and their timing is really one of the most important things as a jungler, is to mind the timing and your clear paths. Optimize time because every single second is gold, even diamond. But so far, what do you think of the matchups? Each matchup here, looking at it from the loading screen, what do you think of the matchups, the composition so far?
Gigabyte Marines has a better composition geared towards objectives, but Kuala Lumpur probably has a decent engage composition where they have the Mantra shield coming out from Bipolar to help them either disengage or re-engage against Gigabyte Marines. Because when Gigabyte Marines expends all of their ultimates and Kuala Lumpurs are able to dip out and then go back in, it's going to probably be a one-team fight for Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
They can win that easily if they play to that strength indeed. I'm also looking to, because bot lane, of course, is going to push against Slay and Archie, as you said. But I've noticed how Archie really maximizes his resources, especially health. Health is a resource that not a lot of people pay attention to. Of course, it's important to not die, but it's also important to maximize every single point of it, to gain value from it, to gain tempo from it. And I think Archie, looking at the finals of Vietnam, he's really good at that, baiting out with just one sliver of health and surviving that to counter the re-engage coming from the enemy. So I'm really looking forward to those plays as well in the bot lane coming from Archie of Gigabyte Marines. So do you think that the level ones Do you think they're just going to have standard lines of scrimmage? Do you think that Levi might want to lead the charge to an invade?
One of the most important things right now in level 1 is not the 5-man stack invade someone's jungle, because you lose out on so much warding coverage and scouting information. So I think you just see like defensive splits with like small attempts at trying to get wards to figure out where the junglers actually start.
So that's going to be the start for the team. Actually, that's been the trend for the entirety of the GPL. Don't want to stack that 5-man into the jungle.
Yeah.
You're losing a lot of information. You might get that first blood. That's just a sliver of a chance compared to the information, the surefire information that you're going to get. So all of that from the jungle is in the jungle side. And talking all about this, the jungle really is one of the most central roles coming into GPL 7.6 and the meta in general, even in solo queue in 7.7, 7.8, incoming 7.8. So really important.
Yeah.
And the relationship between the mid laner and the jungler has been seen in the GPL. We're going to see the Levi Optimus probably, but what we've seen is the Caspiel plus the mid laner combination for Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Very potent.
Yeah. So one thing that you can expect is Graves can start Raptors as well, but there's a chance that it's either going to be slow or they won't actually do it at all. So we have a video for you right now. It's about...
It's going to be just a matchup between the two teams facing up against them. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
So we have loaded onto the Rift for Game 2 of the second match of the semifinals for the Garena Premier League Spring 2017 between the Kuala Lumpur Hunters on blue side and the Gigamite Marines on the red side. We're going to see that bird's eye view of Summoner's Rift, and as expected, is going to be just defensive lines of scrimmage here, but it's going to be Optimus trying to go for a bit of damage on Caspiel. Ignite will be burned, has to burn the flash. Optimus still going for it, Levi as well, that this will be the first blood against Caspiel. Shiro also in duress here, has to flash away. Man, that was not an invade, but rather just catching Caspiel out in a position that was unexpected.
Yeah, exactly. Remember how we were talking about like we'd have this defensive lines? The moment Caspiel tries to check out, crosses the defensive line of Gigabyte Marines, Optimus instantly jumps onto him and punishes him, burns their flash, 2 flashes for 3, but still first blood goes to Optimus.
And not losing any sort of information from that too. Maybe they might get cheese here in the bot lane by Bipolar and CO4, but they have the minion wave to protect them from any sort of that.
Yes, but what this actually means for Gigabyte Marines is that they know that the Grave started on blue because the Renekton leashed, while they have no idea if the Lee Sin started Raptors or if the Lee Sin started red buff. So there's a lot of options right now.
Yeah, adding that to the versatility of the clear from Levi on that Lee Sin, definitely KLH does not have a lot of not any information on where Levi is going to start and going to next after his red buff here.
Yeah, but as you can see, he goes for the Raptors red, Wolves blue. Possibly a Gromp or Scuttler into bottom lane. That's what I expect right now.
Like CO4 and Bipolar are pushing Slay and Archie in.
Yeah,
this might be an opportunity.
As you can see, Optimus already has mid lane priority, pushes the wave into the turret of our hedge, gets the ward onto the red. They now know where Caspiel is, and they have a general idea of Caspiel's pathing. I see some few pings as well onto the Raptor camp. They know that Caspiel is doing his Raptor camp. This is super key to allowing Stark to play as aggressively as he wants in the top lane, because he knows that there is no jungler whatsoever.
Just bully Shiro, out-bullied the Renekton here. Has to stay around his own turret. And the pings earlier as well onto the Gromp camp of Gigabyte Marines. It seems like Kuala Lumpur Hunters also had an idea that he would be there around that timing and decides to pull the lane back to their side.
Yeah, and as you can see, KLH have no idea where Levi is right now, so this could be an opportunity for another kill for Gigabyte Marines if Levi plays it smart.
Seems like he might be playing it around the river, establishing some control over vision here. Does not find any wards. Might be an opportunity for him in the top lane. Shiro really being bullied there. We're going to have Roast Crocodile in the top lane tonight, it seems, if this keeps up.
Exactly. Now you see that Levi is playing towards his left side. They are picking the top lane, but he spots out Caspiel.
That's going to be a lot of information for both teams. The jungler's positioning finally has been revealed for Gigabyte Marines. Just seems like he's just going to go back to his own camps.
It is super unlucky for Levi to be spotted out right there. They now know where he will be patting. He has 13 CS, so the only camp that he can actually take now is the Krugs, which he is doing right now. Caspiel is actually ahead of him.
Seems like Stark is going to be the recipient of a gank from Caspiel. Does not get the end of the line damage. The safeguard is there, but not enough to protect him from death. It seems like Shiro and Caspiel will be getting the second blood of the game, matching the first blood that happened earlier.
Yeah, so Levi shouldn't have gone for the Krugs. He could have read it better that Graves only had this Krugs available. He did have red buff. So when you do have red buff as Graves, that's when you're strongest. It's the opportunity where you can gank and actually lead up to a kill.
The slow is actually substantial.
Exactly. So Levi could have read it better and counter ganked for Stark against Caspiel
like a little bit too late
Shiro.
to the party.
Yeah, a little too late because Krugs takes just way too much time.
There's so much time. It splits apart. There's the animation for it splitting apart as well. Each one is like a Russian doll. It's really taking so much time. Costed Levi that death here of Stark for the top lane. Seems like now he's just going to recall, get his item. He has cleared that after all. Nothing to take on his side of the jungle.
So I like how Optimus is opting for the Tear of the Goddess. You remember how we were talking about the red side Varus? It's also red side Jace, and it plays exactly to that strength.
Where they can just disrupt so many Barons and objectives in general, being that artillery, the ordnance coming from Gigabyte Marines will be powerful once they build up their damage items. Stark
exactly.
might
Gigabyte
encounter
Marines.
Caspiel. It's going to be sneaky Caspiel here.
He has no idea that
it's going to be the Ruthless Predator onto Stark. He's under duress here. He seems to be running forward instead, trying. He knows he's dead, so he's trying to get a little bit more CS, get more value out of his death. It's going to be Shiro again with a kill against Stark.
Yeah, but as you can see, Levi is also positioning towards the bottom lane, but they do know better. Optimus is there though.
And he's not spotted out. This might be dangerous for CO4 and Bipolar. Seems like Bipolar is going to ward that brush. It's going to be Optimus actually positioning himself as it's going to be 1v2 here in the bot lane. It's going to be the teleport coming from Shiro. Might be dangerous for GAM. Levi trapped there, has to flash away. That's a lot of damage coming from Shiro. He flashes in. Also, Arhedge is here. Levi safeguards, but that's going to be the Hemoblade taking him out. Now it's Archie under attack. Double kill for Shiro. That's going to be feeding that Crocodile. It's going to be 3 kills, 2 kills for Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Gigabyte Marines being super ambitious. They did not have the TP advantage, and Shiro did get fed from the repeated ganks on the top lane, so it's very scary right now. Even though they secured first blood, it's been downhill pretty much in terms of for Gigabyte Marines. The gold lead has come back to Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
It gives them the Infernal Drake as well, and considering the composition they have, this is going to be really delicious for Shiro and Caspiel and CO4 as well.
Yeah, it's a double-edged. It's beneficial in 2 different aspects. One is you're denying it from the enemy composition that also needs the Infernal Drake.
They appreciate that so much.
Yeah, and then they also get it for their composition, which benefits greatly from it because they have a Graves, and then they have a Vladimir, they have a Caitlyn.
Seems like Levi, one of those junglers that likes stealing away from the camps when he can, gives away the blue buff to Optimus. Yep. There's going to be a blue buff stolen away from Caspiel. But, yeah.
I also find it very interesting that Stark hasn't opted for the Seeker's Arm Guard to itemize against the enemy composition because their jungler is AD and his enemy top laner is also AD. Seeker's Arm Guard would be worth its weight in gold.
Especially since he's been the recipient of so many ganks coming from Caspiel, indeed. But it does seem like we have a lot of pings in the bot side river. They are pinging their teammates that the jungler is there. the positions for both of these junglers important. Pings onto the blue buff as well. Optimus might be saving that for himself later.
Yeah, so you can see like Optimus, he's doing pretty decently. Like they don't have to take these kinds of necessary
KLH
dives.
trying to gank. Not really, just some pressure on him. Do not let him push in the lane against our hedge.
Gigabyte Marines don't actually need to force dives like those earlier on. They just have to wait and scale, and they can win a team fight in the a little bit later on when they can. They should be the ones setting up the conditions for their team fights, not forcing conditions when they don't have TP advantage, because the Rumble teleport ultimate is super important to their damage output. Considering that most of their damage output is
there's gonna be a
AD.
teleport coming from Stark. He has the equalizer. Here comes Levi. He also has a Dragon's Rage. Will he go for it? It just seems like they both the equalizer burnt, so they can take this bot lane turret. It will be the first turn of the game if they get it. Seems like CO4 and Bipolar do not want to let this go without a fight, poking away at Stark. But that's gonna be Slay, trying to slay down that turret. Here comes Optimus waiting by the wings. Just
one thing you can take note of is that Shiro has one-on-one time with the outer turret.
And that's huge. It's going to be CO4, the recipient of the corrupting chains. It seems like right now, with Shiro having a lot of alone time there, he is going to take that turret down before Gigabyte Marines can. They're investing a lot of time here in the bot lane. No value gained from them.
Yeah, first turret gold coming to Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
That play did not pay off for Gigabyte Marines.
Again, they have to stop forcing these engages where they can't actually get something out of it. Like they only got chunk damage on the bottom outer turret, and that doesn't actually mean much because they are a composition that wants to fight around Barons and Dragons, and wasting your TP advantage on that isn't exactly ideal. Next, when the dragon spawns, Stark won't have his teleport, and that gives an opportunity for Shiro to start up a slow push at top lane, and it's going to be problematic for Gigabyte Marines.
Yeah, the timing for everything is just against Gigabyte Marines and how they've been using their resources. It doesn't seem like they will not have that teleport once the Mountain Drake spawns, and that Mountain Drake, both of these teams want it, and they want to deny it from the other, as you said. Mountain Drake, one of the highest impact Drakes you can have in the game. It's going to be the next one. Pings coming down to the river to establish some vision, and a little bit of roam coming from Optimus. Him re-establishing vision around that area.
Yeah, it looks like Gigabyte Vietnam really want that bottom lane outer turret, but they keep investing so many resources into this investment, and it's not gonna pan out for them. They should just slowly slow the game down a little bit more. Stop the bleeding and start trying to get back into the game.
Yeah, they have to lick their wounds here to stop the bleeding, let it heal. But it seems like they are forcing it. They have been trying to force the objectives, and that just makes the wound bleed even harder. We're gonna see all of this culminating in the next minute. When the Mountain Drake spawns, that's going to be one opportunity for Gigabyte Marines to set up their win conditions.
Yeah, so as you can see, Shiro is pressuring Stark in the top lane, and he does have his teleport advantage over Stark, so Stark has no chance of canceling it. It looks like Mountain Drake is it's either gonna be Mountain Drake or top inner turret for Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Those are the two objectives that they should be eyeing right now. As you can see, the Graves is hovering towards the left side jungle. Does see that
trying to look for a gank here. The flash, Chains of Corruption. That's going to be a lot of bursts onto CO4. And it's going to be Bipolar on the defensive here. They might get the turret they are looking for. Bipolar does have some respectable wave clear. There are no teammates for Bipolar near this objective.
Yeah, so they end up using the teleport advantage to save their bot outer turret.
And this might actually give some time for Stark to recharge his teleport, considering that Shiro has to recall. This might be an opportunity for Gigabyte Marines, as you said, to take this objective that they want.
Exactly. That wasn't an opportune moment for Shiro to actually teleport because he still hadn't based and bought his items. So, and he is being prevented from basing because of the amount of pressure.
Oh, there's going to be Optimus. I think that will be his death with a Hemoplague plus the collateral damage taking him down. That's Caspiel and our hedge trying to take down this mid turret.
Yeah,
Just a
but
little bit of pressure
as we're saying that, you can see that Gigabyte Marines wanted to get that bottom lane out the turret, but are now rotating towards mid, maybe even a dragon.
Yeah, so much threat coming from Caspiel and Arhedge here. Having to pull all of those resources to try and defend that mid lane, defend the Raptor camp as well. It seems like they just tried and clear this. The Mountain Drake, of course, delayed for both of these teams. And that's going to be control over the bot lane turret on the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Backing off. They do not have a lot of vision around that area. Do not want to risk it too much.
Had they had better vision control, they would have realized that Optimus and Slay actually backed off. It could have resulted in them getting the Mountain Drake as well. This is really good vision denial coming out from Archie and from Optimus. Optimus has been a main contributor with his control wards. Every time he backs and he has the opportunity to get a control ward, he buys one and then drops it immediately, denying vision
Yeah,
from Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
75 gold investment on those control wards is really keeping them in this game, being able to just deny the vision, prevent Kuala Lumpur Hunters from making these objective plays. Now they are on the initiative here for this Mountain Drake. Doesn't seem like Caspiel is there. No, he will not be there for the contest. Mountain Drake onto Gigabyte Marines for sure.
Yeah, because even though Garena Gigabyte Marines had an awkward back timer, so did Kuala Lumpur Hunters. But this time, Gigabyte Marines actually take advantage of it.
They are. That is one of the, as you said, the opportunities that they had for that for the objective game, and that really is where they want to center their win conditions around. Looks like Archie, again, as you said, lots of vision control here. It's going to be very dangerous for KLH to rotate around the map without their vision, with Archie and Optimus laying down so much control.
Exactly. Aside from that, we had 4 control wards in the inventories of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. But it's about also the efficiency of these control wards. How many wards have they denied and what have they done with the vision?
And placing these wards in important spots. Look at Optimus just taking out another control ward to take away further value from Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Arhedge pushing it constantly in. He is a resourceless champion. He can just constantly just clear the waves with the tides of blood and your transfusion. Caspiel looking for something, just stealing away some blast cone potential from GAM.
Yeah, just making sure that CO4 is actually safe in the bottom lane, even though it is still risky that CO4 is at the bottom lane.
Yeah, not having that blast cone means no sneaky ganks, but might be too dangerous if Optimus is the one he's facing there. It seems like Optimus, looking at the minimap, is trying to go for him. That's going to be the siege in the mid lane. KLH wants this. The wave clear comes from GAM, substantial.
I'm actually surprised that they haven't rotated Arhedge as well to the bottom lane and let the AD carries both wave clear at mid lane, because CO4 has better wave clear than Arhedge because his abilities require him to be a little bit up forward into the minion wave to actually wave clear, which is very dangerous, especially when you have a Virus and a Lulu.
They can just knock you up and then snare you. Arhedge here, fearless though, but that is the danger, getting chunked down a little bit, and the healing that you get from his kit is going to be mitigated by the tainted terrain that the Rain of Arrows gives.
Exactly. So now
Optimus
gets the first turret as well, but take a look at Shiro and Caspiel pressuring the inner turret of the top.
Stark, the low half, has to pull Levi to his side. Oh, Arhedge, very dangerous plan there. Trying to 1v2 the Ignite plus the Grievous Wounds from the Rain of Arrows will push him away, but that's a lot of healing.
It was a smart play coming out from Arhedge because he did realize that Slay was out of mana.
Yes.
Had he had more free time, he could have probably double killed them. Just because Slay wasn't using his
the power of Arhedge on that Vladimir. So much sustain, can fearlessly do that 2v1, but of course doesn't have enough time. Might have been too dangerous to stay there for too long. Just pushes Slay and Archie away.
So as you can see, like the Zhonya's Hourglass slowly coming out of Stark. He does realize that he needs to itemize for this armor. I'm surprised that he actually even completed the Haunting guys.
That's way too late.
Yeah,
in terms of the itemization.
Especially when he was again the recipient of multiple ganks. He could get more efficiency out of the Seeker's Armlet, Arm Guard plus the Ninja Tabis had he rushed it in the early game.
Yeah, it would have been a very different story when he keeps getting ganked, but there was also his positioning that really spelled his death a lot of times in the top lane. So now Shiro with a 301 advantage. really pressuring him, bullying him deep into his own turret.
Yeah, but now we have things a little slowing down a little bit.
That's what GAM wants.
Yeah, that's what GAM actually wants, and we both have both top laners have their teleports, so we will see who will pull the trigger first.
It's gonna be a trigger pull, and might be here in the bot lane as they're trying to go for that corrupting change onto Caspiel. Slay is between rock and a hard place, so that's a lot of burst, but that's going to be wild growth on him. Hedge is fearlessly going in. Tides of Blood plus Sanguine Pool gets kicked away by Levi. Now that's going to be Shiro in the middle of everything. He's a very powerful beast, but not against 3. Optimus flashes away, has to rely on the Shock Blast for further damage. Archie and Levi just cleaning up here. It's going to be Stark chasing after Caspiel, and that's going to be the Flamethrower, the Flame Spitter here, and it's going to be Archie to finish it off. Does not have mana for it, however.
Yeah, but that is 2 turrets come for Gigabyte Marines. Beautiful team fight. Caspiel getting a little bit antsy right there, greeding for a control ward, ends up costing his team 4 deaths and a gigantic gold lead swing and 2 turrets. Exactly.
2K on the side of GAM after this. And yeah, the positioning from Caspiel. We know that let's look at the replay.
So as you can see, Caspiel greeding for that ward.
It's going to be Slay almost dying here, but Caspiel really cost it a lot for his team. Hedge, Shiro here left alone. Yeah, the DPS coming from everything, the Equalizer as well, is just going to take him down.
Yeah, the sad thing in those fights were that Caspiel and CO4 were way too far. Way too far for it to happen, to be able to deal damage.
It's going to be clean coming from Gigabyte Marines there.
So yeah, like gigantic gold swing for Gigabyte Marines.
They really needed that. Seems like the art transition gets into even more. Caspiel gets kicked into the rest of the team. Polymorphed as well. And all of that damage coming from that Hedge is now in the back line. Left alone against 3. The Hemoplague deals so much damage, but that's not going to be enough. And that's more kills. That's more kills for Gigabyte Marines.
And this could be Baron because they do have the Mountain Drake. This will be a relatively fast dragon. The only thing Shiro can do is shove mid lane up and probably rotate to the bottom lane. This looks really bad for Kuala Lumpur Hunter.
Man, it seems like to mitigate that, Optimus is also rotating to the mid lane, pushes off Shiro. Even with a shove, it's going to be no resources lost for JM. It's going to look at the replay.
So as you can see, Caspiel gets out, and then suddenly the ward.
Oh man, that was smooth.
The ward jumped into, even though he used his ultimate. Beautiful kick coming out from Levi, and then they just stomped over the rest of the Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Hedge way too ambitious there, getting that Vladimir 1v3. Dealt a lot of damage, but not quite enough doing the 1v3. That was clean coming from JM. I really like the seamless transition from the Resonating Strike into the Safeguard into the Dragon's Rage. Mechanical coming from Levi. That was an insect play right there.
So you can see now that they have a lot of
Optimus
options as well.
It's going to be just bursted down by Caspiel. Straight up dangerous.
Optimus trying to go for an assassination play when they should be grouping because they have really good siege. There are still two top turrets for the top lane and then 1 outer turret for the bottom lane. They could have set something up. They just needed mid lane priority.
There's going to be Levi under pressure here. Gets the Resonating Strike onto the Gromp for a little bit of safety, but Bipolar might be continuing the chase. No, just pokes him out.
Yeah, so like Gigabyte Marines right now, it looks like they don't know where to go. And Kuala Lumpur Hunters, even though they are at a deficit and they don't have Baron buff, they still know what to do. They're picking people off and actually they're the ones taking the turrets away
why are they the ones pressuring the turrets when Gigabyte Marines has the Baron buff? This Levi, what is that dangerous position? The turret falls down. Shiro is left alone against 3. Seems like he will be Crocodile left for dead here. Levi again knocking up people with the help of Archie. Seems like now Caspiel is on the run. Gets the Sonic Wave onto him. That's a lot of damage coming from Caspiel, however, but Optimus is there for the assist. Another Sonic Wave hits while Bipolar gets executed on the other side of that wall. And it's going to be Optimus taking the kill against Caspiel.
Yeah, that was over ambitious from Shiro going in. They should have darted out after they got the turret, but then Shiro went in all by himself, costing the team 3 more deaths. But the silver lining is Gigabyte Marines might only be able to take 1 turret out of that play.
It seems like they're trying to take 2 with those death timers ticking out. It's going to be the bottom lane second tier turret plus Stark trying to cannot actually match the wave clear of our hedge and the sustain he has. So definitely with how Gigabyte Marines played their Baron buff, it seems like they were playing as if the Baron buff didn't exist.
Yeah, but Stark almost killing Arhed gets the kill.
Cool guys don't walk away from explosions. That's going to be Stark walking away, sends those missiles hurling towards our hedge, gets the kill.
Yeah, so it's now a really good opportunity for Gigabyte Marines to take the top lane turrets as well.
But it seems like they're not rotating for it right now. A lot of pings coming to mid lane rather than top lane, which is
again another viable option because they do have very good siege, and since our hedge is down, they have only 2 sources of wave clear, which is 3 sources of wave clear. The Graves.
They're really trying to go for it. That's going to be the Dragon's Rage against Caspiel with Optimus helping with a DPS. Caspiel is trying to run away. The teleport from Stark is going to come in. Equalizer not available, but that's a lot of damage with his items. That's going to be Caspiel cornered, walking the wrong direction. Oh, look at that damage coming from Stark and Slay, and they're just ganging up on Shiro right now. There's going to be 3 kills for Gigabyte Marines. Now they can transition to the top lane.
Yeah, it could have been their inhibitor, but instead they brought the Gigabyte Marines over to the top lane, and it's just going to cost them 2 turrets instead.
They're going to extend their gold lead with more kills and these objectives. Now they're using the Baron buff. It seems like it has depleted for these 3 members.
They actually, Gigabyte Marines also sent 2 people to the mid lane, slowly chunking down that mid lane.
Yeah, and look, not just chunking down, this is a demolition job for them with the attack speed coming from all of his items. Slay really shredding these. This might be the chase coming from our hedge. Ghost is burned. Now his target is going to be the support. Archie seems like not the right one. He just gets polymorphed and scared away.
Yeah, that's 2 open inhibitors now. For the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they have to step up their defense.
Let's look at the replay on how all of that transpired. It's going to be
Levi actually going for Caspiel. They weren't able to collapse fast enough, and the exhaust stopping a lot of damage coming out from Optimus. But then they just got ran down by the entire team of Gigabyte Marines. Being first to the rotation, and aside from that, that also happened because our hedge got died a little bit earlier.
So really, everything in Gigabyte Marines' hands now. A pretty shaky start. But it seems like they've collected themselves now, playing to their win conditions. It's going to be Optimus. They are setting up for this Mountain Drake. Imagine this composition. Gigabyte Marines, good siege with 3 Mountain Drakes. That's going to be extremely scary. Archie's going to be caught out here. Wild Growth himself. Shiro is doing a lot of damage. The shield's keeping him a little bit alive, but that's just setting everything up for the Equalizer. There's a lot of value gained from that Equalizer. Levi has to safeguard away, but the rest of the team of Kuala Lumpur Hunters falling apart. Slay just free hitting with so much attack speed. Look at him go. That's going to be a triple kill for him. Okay, that's going to be Bipolar running away, but that just leaves mid lane and top lane open for them.
That was a beautiful ultimate coming out from Arhed, getting the entire team of Gigabyte Marines with his Hemo Plague. But still, it wasn't enough for them to actually turn the fight around.
Because Stark, look at that Equalizer, just so much damage in that choke point. They were stuck there. This actually opens up the inhibitors for Gigabyte Marines.
Very interesting as well is that it was technically a 5v4 because Archie did nothing the entire fight.
Just got caught out and then destroyed. Seems like Bipolar is enough to scare them away. Let's look at the replay on how all of that happened.
But as you can see, Archie walks up even though he knows that there's enemies there. Practically gets insta-gift during that fight. The Equalizer lands, it's pretty good. Splits the enemy team into 2, but then you can see Arhed re-engages with the Hemo Plague onto the front line, lands his Tides of Blood, Sanguine Pool as well, slowing them down.
Look at
Slay, Slay is untouched this entire fight and just destroys everyone. Destroys Arhed, destroyed Caspiel, destroyed CO4. Could have also gotten Bipolar as well.
Yeah, it just has to turn tail with that Inspire, movement speed, and shield. And wow, maybe Archie getting into that was a bait, maybe all planned, because as soon as Archie got caught out, they walked backwards. It seems like they were leading him into the coral, and just the equalizer positioning there was perfect.
Probably. And now third Mountain Drake for the side of Gigabyte Marines.
Man.
They can take this Baron really quick. It doesn't matter if they're red side Varus because they have almost a 7k gold lead ahead of Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
KLH really investing a lot of time here. They do have a little bit of vision control around the area, but it doesn't seem like Gigabyte Marines is falling for it.
Yeah, they have to back off now because the mid lane is actually pushing towards them. Gigabyte Marines have a golden opportunity to take Baron, and if Kuala Lumpur can fight them and get a clean ace and get the Baron buff, maybe then they'll be able to defend. But right now, it looks like they're going to look towards the Baron. As you can see, Stark is already split pushing in the bottom lane.
Oh, Optimus gets caught out by 3. That's going to be 1 member down for Gigabyte Marines.
But that doesn't stop the fact that Stark is slow pushing the bottom lane, and he still has his teleport play.
So that's going to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, this is perfect for Gigabyte Marines as well, because if they do start the Baron, they do have a Varus that is super fed. He's already 907.
Oh man.
Has his armor penetration up and running, and they know that Bipolar standing on a ward.
And they do know that there will be an attempt here for this Baron, it seems. They aren't starting it, but that's going to be dangerous. Let's looking at the bot lane. That is way too risky considering the siege that come up here. That's going to be the teleport coming from Stark. The redemption is there to try and go for a reset. That's going to be a very good equalizer taking down Bipolar and then taking down all the damage. Shiro, very good front line. This might be the Hemo Plague against everyone. This is not Brock. Arhedge is just dishing out so much DPS. This is like Gigabyte Marines on the back foot for this fight without their mid laner.
That's almost as good as a clean ace. Being able to take 2 and then forcing the other 2 to probably get them off straggler kills. That's really good for Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
That's going to be Caspiel with that bonus snipe, with that collateral damage.
Yeah, but they still have to defend their base if they want any chance to win this game. What was risky? That was a very, very messy team fight. It could have been played better by Gigabyte Marines.
It seems like they were a little bit too antsy getting in there, and then Kuala Lumpur Hunters with a revenge gets the Baron buff. And even though the equalizer, yes, it did deal a lot of damage to Bipolar, but not the best positioning there. Didn't really catch out any key targets. Let's look at the replay. A lot of replays this game.
So as you can see, a very good trap line coming out from CO4. But sadly, the Rumble ultimate was really good, but it didn't do as much damage as you'd expect.
Yeah, the targets he wanted to catch out could just easily dash out. And that's going to be a lot of damage. Shiro and Arhedge together really taking them down. The GA is popped there, but the damage from these guys just allow them to take the Baron.
And sadly, Kuala Lumpur Hunters are so tanky. Even with the debuff coming out from Baron, they were still able to survive the equalizer. Just shows you how the redemption actually saved them from dying.
Just caps off their health and just gives them the ability to fight back immediately against Gigabyte Marines and then take the Baron right after that. That's a lot of value, but the tempo still seems to be on GAM's side. They will be able to dictate this bot lane, I think.
Yes.
Getting a lot of stacks, a 5-man stack here in the bot lane, clearing out resources. They want this open inhibitor.
Yeah, but the mid lane inhibitor will respawn pretty soon. And one thing we actually missed early on is that Shiro's actually running Deathfire Touch on his Renekton. Probably a mistake in terms of his mastery setup.
That's gonna put a hamper.
Yeah, maybe that was one of the reasons why.
Yeah, he was losing lane, not having that fervor of battle against a Rumble. Of course, he's gonna get bullied. But it seems like, of course, early he did get a lot of ganks to mitigate that. So
yeah,
it's gonna be the Baron buff on Kuala Lumpur Hunters, looking to use it against Gigabyte Marines to stop the momentum of their control.
Yeah, we will see though that Gigabyte Marines have really good wave clear. So even though they have Baron buff, they have to set up the other side waves as well, or else this Baron buff will be useless, and then Gigabyte Marines will then pounce onto Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Just waiting for that Baron buff to tick out. If ever Kuala Lumpur Hunters don't get too much value out of this Baron buff, it's going to be Gigabyte Marines being the ones to hunt them down. Seems like they are looking for a play here. Optimus still split pushing top lane. Seems to be Caspiel trying to go for more damage. Chunks down Stark, but doesn't seem like there's really any reason to other than to continue pushing the lane, continue the pressure.
Yes, and as you can see, even though RH does set up a slow push at bottom lane, their top lane is actually pushing in as well. KLH has to send someone there, probably Shiro. But then this means that their mid lane is exposed with just 3 champions. This is an opportunity for Vietnam to actually capitalize on.
Yeah, so they do send Shiro in the top lane. Optimus as well, matching that for the top lane. The Infernal Drake will be up in half of a minute if this goes to either party.
Yeah.
It's going to be making their next team fight more explosive, more fiery.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting about between the junglers is that Caspiel is building full-on hard carry, while Levi didn't even opt for the Black Cleaver.
He just goes full tank. Just the engage tool, the insect plays coming from Levi will be their main tool here to engage if no one's making a play on the objective.
Yes, exactly. And so as you can see, KLH already starting the Infernal Drake. They do have vision control.
Seems like that's a very fast one. Seems like the pings will come to defend the top lane inhibitor. There's going to be Shiro against Optimus if that's going to be a fight in the top lane.
Yes, but this could be a possible sandwich onto Shiro, and then a possible sandwich onto the 4 members of Gigabyte Marine.
Seems like this is going to be the team fight. Shiro getting chunked down a lot. Now they're just going to transition this to group up as a 5-man here. Seems like the fight is going to start. The Corrupting Chains goes onto Caspiel, and that's going to be Levi not opting for Dragon's Rage there. It's going to be a good equalizer to zone out Caspiel, but look at RH and Shiro just cleaning up here in the top lane. Pushes away Gigabyte Marines from their base.
RH with the beautiful Hemo Plague. That Hemo Plague was the one that helped them win the fight, landing it on 3 core members of Gigabyte Marines.
This multiplies the damage, gets him a lot of healing, and together with Shiro himself being a big damage dealer there in the middle of everyone, that's just going to be a bloodbath.
Exactly, and Lee Sin just all beef, no damage, doesn't actually do much to Caspiel when he kicks him in. As you can see there, they realize that Caspiel is there, but then the moment Shiro and RH go into the backline of GAM Gigabyte Marines.
The tunnel vision so much on Caspiel that they weren't wary of the RH plus Shiro dive duo. This actually gives away a lot of kills to Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Yeah, Dominus AoE damage plus Cull the Meek onto the Hemo Plague plus Deathfire Touch. Just the amount of damage there was able to destroy the backline of Gigabyte Marines. They lose their mid lane inhibitor and Optimus as well in another skirmish after that fight.
It's going to be the mid lane inhibitor will be the target there in favor of Kuala Lumpur Hunters as well, having both comparing the 2 inhibitors that are down. I do think that Kuala Lumpur Hunters has an advantage here because the waves that they have to clear will be near the Baron buff, which will spawn in less than half a minute. Seems like they are setting up the vision around that.
Yeah, you have to take note though that this bottom lane, you can see Shiro already starting the slow push. Both top laners have their teleport advantage, but it's kind of more important for Stark to group with his teammates and get that initial equalizer off already during the start of the fights instead of waiting for these TP flanks.
Because it's going to be more powerful. The TP flank, if it happens, without the initial equalizer, Shiro will have an advantage once he actually gets that impact with the Ruthless Predators and his AoE damage. It's going to be the Baron dance here for both teams.
Yes, but remember, there's still a Varus and a Jace on the red side.
You have to be mindful of that.
Exactly. They should be sending Stark either in the mid lane or in the bottom lane to just match that slope, fix that wave at the bottom lane.
Oh, there's going to be Caspiel looking for Levi here, gets kicked away. That's just going to disengage the fight, the skirmish here in the mid lane. RH, of course, and Shiro, the dive duo, might be looking for an opportunity, not letting Gigabyte Marines pressure them out of this Baron. It's going to be there starting
Optimus
it right now.
looking to backdoor the mid lane inhibitor.
Is this worth it? This might be worth it if Levi gets the Miracle Steal. It's going to be equalizer here for the rest of the game. The blue team, the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, does get the Baron buff. That's going to be Slay taken down by Shiro and RH, and that's going to be Optimus. His backdoor might not be worth it.
That will be game unless Archie stops the wave from mid lane. because there are no minions. There is a gigantic wave in the bottom lane. Again, Stark did not deal with that gigantic wave, and they are now going to pay the price of losing the game.
That's death timers are really long here, and they are looking to
could mean only a Nexus turret
Archie.
though. It's very optimistic for Kuala Lumpur to try and end this game with 30-second death timers. But the way they're pushing it so fast, it's all up to Optimus right now.
Seems like right now it's Kuala Lumpur's. Seems like they're the ones with the triple Mons and Drakes with how they're finishing off this game. That's gonna be Gigabyte Marines unstoppable here for now. Optimus does not have an effect on this fight. It's gonna be the Nexus taken by Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Impressive.
Impressive, very impressive. Coming from a deficit, even giving up first blood, they were still able to recover and end up winning the game. Kuala Lumpur Hunters are here to play.
Yeah, they are really trying to get this. Even though Gigabyte Marines, they seem to be the ones higher in the power ranking. So Kuala Lumpur Hunters, what is happening that they improved so much? Is it the pressure of trying to get to the finals? Is it pressure of being up against the perceived final boss of GPL? We're gonna have to see in the next game. This might be the last one, actually.
Exactly. They could have played that last fight better had the Varus not get caught out by Shiro and Arhedge.
Arhedge and Shiro just unstoppable there. Tanky, lots of sustain. You just can't beat that alone.
Exactly. Slay just there alone while their support was so far away. Archie was there near the Baron buff while Slay was there hovering towards the Raptor camp. It was really bad for them, just getting insta-gip by Shiro and Arhedge.
That's going to be Kuala Lumpur Hunters defying expectations here in the Garena Premier League Spring 2017 knockout stage, or semifinals, as some would say it. And we're going to get back to you for our third, might be final game. Let's see if there's going to be a reverse sweep or if it's going to be Kuala Lumpur Hunters really just surprising everyone and taking this against Vietnam. We have been your Shoutcasters. I am Atlas, and with me is Iconic, and we'll be seeing you after a 15-minute break. It's going to be 1v2 here in the bot lane. It's going to be the teleport coming from Shiro. Might be dangerous for GAM. Levi trapped there. Has to flash away. That's a lot of damage coming from Shiro. He flashes in. Also, Arhedge is here. Levi safeguards, but that's going to be the Hemoblade taking him out. Now it's Archie under attack. Double kill for Shiro. That's going to be beating that. That's going to be Wild Growth on him. Arhedge is fearlessly going in. Tides of Blood plus Sacred Pool gets kicked away by Levi. Now that's going to be Shiro in the middle of everything. He's a very powerful beast, but not against 3. Optimus flashes away. Has to rely on the Shock Blast for further damage. Archie and Levi just cleaning up here. It's going to be Stark chasing after Caspiel. And that's going to be the Flamethrower. Flame Spitter here. It's going to be Archie to finish it off. He does not have mana for it, however. Yeah, and all of that damage coming from the Arhedge is now in the back line, left alone against 3. The Hemoblade deals so much damage, but that's not going to be enough, and that's more kills alone against 3. Seems like he will be Crocodile left for dead here. Levi, again, knocking up people with the help of Archie. Seems like now Caspiel is on run, gets the Sonic Wave onto him. That's a lot of damage coming from Caspiel, however, but Optimus is there for the assist. Another Sonic Wave hits while Polar gets executed on the other side of that wall. Equalizer not available, but that's a lot of damage with his items. That's going to be Caspiel cornered, rocking in the wrong direction. Oh, look at that damage coming from Stark and Slay, and they're just ganging up on Shiro right now. It's going to be 3 kills. Setting everything up for the Equalizer. There's a lot of value gained from that Equalizer. Levi has to safeguard away, but the rest of the team of Kuala Lumpur Hunters falling apart. Slay just hitting with so much attack speed. Look at him go! That's going to be a triple kill for him. A very good Equalizer taking out Bipolar and then taking down all the damage. Shiro, very good front line. This might be the Hemoblade against everyone. This is not Brock. Arhedge is just dishing out so much DPS. Gigabyte Marines on the back foot for this fight without here. The fight is going to start. Corrupting Chains just onto Caspiel, and that's going to be Levi not opting for the Dragon's Rage there. There's going to be a good Equalizer to zone out Caspiel, but look at Arhedge and Shiro just cleaning up here in the top lane. That pushes away Gigabyte Marines from their base.
The way they're pushing it so fast, it's all up to Optimus right now.
Seems like right now it's Kuala Lumpur. Seems like they're the ones with the triple mountain breaks. With how they're finishing off this game, that's gonna be Gigabyte Marines unstoppable here for now. Optimus does not have an effect on this fight. It's gonna be the Nexus taken by Kuala Lumpur Hunters.